find it to be fascinating the way that the mainstream media covers, or in some cases outright buries, stories. I've mentioned before the way the media will go out of their way to mention the race of someone when the story fits their narrative. For example, when George Floyd happened a couple of years ago, the first one or two paragraphs of damn near every article mentioned that George Floyd, who is black, was killed by, I think the cop's name was Derek Chauvin, who is a white cop. That story fit their narrative. Evil white cop mercilessly kills innocent black man. This doesn't just happen with the useless woke rags either. A couple of years ago, Jason Whitlock wrote an article about George Floyd for Outkick. Now, I can't remember the premise of the article off the top of my head, but he was one of very few black media members that was opposite the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, when Fox News covered the story on their website, they went out of their way to mention Jason Whitlock as a black journalist. It fit their narrative. Here we have a black man who is against Black Lives Matter. When it comes to the trans movement, the mainstream media is lost. They no longer know what to do. In the past, they were quick to shove transgenderism down your throat. You little people just don't understand. It's perfectly normal for young Rufus to wear lipstick. Please allow us to teach your children that it is okay to use the garden hose for purposes of self-penetration. For years, the mainstream media was all about the trans movement. Remember when Caitlyn Jenner won the Courage Award at ESPN? Sales of hand lotion spiked 70%. Twitter saw a massive increase in traffic as losers all over the country gathered together to participate in the world's largest circle jerk. The media could not get enough of Caitlyn Jenner. Here they had Bruce Jenner, who was once considered a man's man, becoming a woman. The media ate that shit up. But there's been a shift. There's been a change in media coverage when it comes to the trans movement. I feel like it started with Leah Thomas back in November or December. It really ramped up with what they like to call the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. People have sat silently for years, refusing to speak against the transgender movement. They were afraid to be labeled transphobic. They were afraid to be labeled intolerant. The thing about tolerance, it has its limits. I feel like we as a country made a mistake with tolerance. Like I've said before, you can't tolerate social justice warriors. This is something that we did not realize 5 years ago, but I think people are waking up to the fact these people are deranged, they're sick. There is no cure for the fungus of wokeism. You have to treat social justice warriors like children. When a child or your teenager's acting out, yelling and screaming, throwing a tantrum, if you pay attention to it, or even worse, allow it to visually affect you, you're just adding fuel to the fire. If you ignore it, eventually they'll run out of gas or grow tired of being a shitfuck and the storm passes. The mainstream media has come to the realization that people are no longer tolerating the trans movement. It's over. The backlash to people like Leah Thomas has been severe, and it's not going away. Half the states in the country have passed or are in the process of passing laws designed to ban trans kids from competing in sports. So what does the media do? What does the media do when they know they're on the wrong side of an issue? They do one of two things. They continue pushing their propaganda, hoping to sway the opinion of the masses, or in this case, they completely ignore it. We discussed the mainstream media pretty much ignoring Leah Thomas. Now we have another story that is being ignored by every single mainstream media outlet. Tuesday night, I received a flood of emails and DMs letting me know about this story in Guam. KC, what the fuck is a Guam? Guam is actually a U.S. territory located in the Western Pacific near the international date line. There is a lot of American influence in Guam. Their favorite sport is football. Talking about the real football, not the boring European football. The NBA, somewhat popular in Guam, followed by Major League Baseball. The country has many of the same traditions that we have here at home. Now, while America has positively influenced Guam in many ways, we've also had a negative influence. The woke fungus has landed on the shores of Guam. Last week, the high school rugby season officially kicked off. There was a game between Guam High School and Tiyan High School. This game was supposed to feature female players, which I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know girls played rugby, but hey, I guess that's what they like to call equity. Anyway, there were 29 players on the field that the woke like to call biological females. Us normal people, we just call them women or girls. But you know those damn wokers, they're always trying to be different. So you have 29 girls on the field. Rugby consists of 30 players, 15 on each team. I guess there was a shortage of girls at the high school level in Guam because they allowed a boy to compete against these young women in rugby. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. There I go misgendering again. I have to stop doing that. I must consider the feelings of the dazed and confused. That wasn't a boy on the field. It was a person who identifies with the female persuasion. Now, what the fuck could possibly go wrong when you allow a fucking dude to play rugby against young girls? Let's think about this for a second. I mean, this right here requires critical thinking. What could possibly go wrong? Well, you run the risk of his girl teammates getting pregnant. It just happened at a prison in New Jersey. The dumb fucks in New Jersey, oh, they're so tolerant. They allowed a man who identifies as a woman to serve out his sentence in a female prison. Guess what happened? 2 fucking inmates ended up pregnant. Officials in New Jersey are dumbfounded. They're confused. How did this happen? He told us he identified as a woman. How can a woman and another woman conceive a child? Well, he's not a woman, you stupid fuck. He's a man. Just because he identifies as a woman, just because you want to think he's a woman, doesn't make him a woman. It makes him a dumbass, and you too. Fortunately, that hasn't happened, though, with this rugby team in Guam yet. So, what else could go wrong when you allow a dude to compete against females in rugby? Well, you could lose the competitive balance. Men are naturally stronger, naturally faster. The team with the dude on the team has a competitive advantage over the team with all girls. I'll show you an example. Earlier this week, Tyreek Hill went 1-on-11 with the Lady Warriors flag football team in Miami. The Lady Warriors, they kicked the ball off. Tyreek Hill, he stands there and waits for 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds to allow them to try to surround him. Then, this happened.
Go get it, go get it, go get it. Go get it.
Shut up! Oh, shut up! Oh, yeah! Oh, my gosh, he tied the...
But you know, men and women are the same. Women can do anything men can do and do it better. Go ask the young women on that football team if that's true. But that's not what happened in Guam either. Instead, what went wrong is far worse. The boy who goes by she/her pronouns plays for Guam High School. During the rugby match, he injured not 1, not 2, but 3 fucking young girls. Who in the hell allowed this to happen? Now, thankfully, none of these young women were seriously hurt, but who's in charge here? Where are the adults? I know there has to be some sort of athletic commission. After the first young girl was injured by the bison, did anyone stop to think, maybe this is not a good idea? What about after the second injury? Even after the third girl was injured, the fucking boy was allowed to finish the match. What the hell's wrong with these people? Let me tell you what I think is going to end up happening, and will put an end to the trans bullshit in sports once and for all. Right now, These school boards are ran by a bunch of pussies. We have to allow the little boy to play with girls. If we don't, we are going to be labeled transphobic. LGBT will protest outside our schools, leaving their duty on our sidewalks. In the current environment, it is easier to accommodate one person than deal with the ramifications of the useless. What's going to end up happening, though, a boy who identifies as a girl is going to seriously injure someone or worse. He's going to paralyze a young woman for life, traumatic brain injury. When that happens, not if, but when that happens, the parents are going to sue the shit out of the school. They will bankrupt the system. At that point, you won't have to worry about trans involvement in sports anymore. There will be too much liability involved. It's easy to take a fake stance on trans inclusion when there are no consequences to your actions. But as soon as ramifications are introduced, watch how quickly they change their minds. Fuck Timmy who wants to be Tammy. He's not allowed to play against the girls. They'll sue our asses off. As of right now, no mainstream media outlet has picked up this story, and they won't. I appreciate all you guys who let me know about this. Anytime you guys see something that pertains to the channel, send it my way. I can't get to everything that is sent to me, but I often cover topics that you guys send me. And let me know what you think. The mainstream media completely ignoring this story in Guam. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.